Hello friends. In previous lecture regarding consumer behavior, we studied that what is consumer behavior, what are the different types of consumers, why a marketer need to study the consumer behavior while framing his marketing policies and making different marketing programs. In this series, let us continue further with the determinants of consumer behavior. Friends, all psychological, social, and physical behavior of potential consumers as they become aware of, evaluate, purchase, consume, and tell others about the products and services is collectively known as consumer behavior. Friends, consumer is actually a human being, and behavior of human being is dynamic. It is never static. It keeps on changing with the change in his circumstances, his economic conditions, his sociological aspects, his psychological conditions, and even with his personal factors. So, these factors are generally uncontrollable factors. So, let us categorize these determinants or factors which govern consumer behavior in four major categories or four major groups, such as economic factors, sociological factors, psychological factors, and personal factors. Now let us continue with the first group of factors, that is economic determinants. Economic determinants generally relate to the economic well-being or economic conditions of the consumers, such as his personal income, his disposable income, his discretionary income, his total family income, his expectations regarding income in future time, the availability of liquid assets with the consumers, credit facilities available to the consumer, his established standard of living, policy of government prevailing in the country, and economic conditions prevalent in the country. So, these variables they greatly influence the behavior of the consumer. Actually, among the social scientists, economists were the first category of persons who studied consumer behavior, and they provided details and insight information as well as solution to the marketer regarding solving the problem of consumer behavior. Economics describe a man or a consumer, a rational human being or a rational person, and this person has perfect knowledge about the market and market conditions. And whenever he goes to the market and spends his money, he tries to achieve maximum satisfaction or maximum value out of every single penny he spends in the market. So, first variable in this category is personal income. Personal income has a deep and direct impact on purchasing behavior of any consumer. Personal income provides purchasing power to the consumer, which helps in making his purchase decisions. Any increase in personal income is usually accompanied by increase in his level of consumption. On the contrary, a decrease in personal income will definitely curtail his consumption expenditures. So, with the increase in personal income, the spendings on convenience products, comforts, status symbol items, and luxury goods will increase. Next variable in this category is disposable income. Disposable income is the amount of money at the disposal of consumer for spending or saving after paying taxes or debt contributions, etc., etc. So, any change in disposable income will change the consumption patterns of the consumer. Higher the disposable income with the consumer, higher will be his spendings on comforts and luxury products. So, disposable income causes change in selective demand for different category of products and services. Next variable in this category is discretionary income. Discretionary income is income available to the consumer after meeting his basic needs of life, such as food, shelter, and clothing. So, increase in discretionary income will result in increase of spendings of consumers, especially on products which increase his standard of living. For example, luxury electronic gadgets, music systems, phones, automobiles, etc. So, discretionary income also greatly influences the consumer behavior. Next is family income. Family income is also an important determinant which govern consumer behavior. Family is income is totality of income of all members of the family. So, family size, the earning members of the family, requirements of family members, they all will affect the consumption pattern and behavior of the consumer. Next variable in this category is income expectations. Future income expectations of the consumer also affect behavior of the consumer. If consumer expects his future income to rise, definitely his tendency to spend in present time will be more. On the other hand, if a consumer expects his future income to fall, then definitely he will curtail his present consumption expenditure. So, future income expectations may be with the maturity of LIC policies, the payment of bonuses, gratuities, or maturity of fixed deposits or national saving certificates, etc. So, consumers' spending patterns they will definitely influenced by all these future expectational factors of the consumer. Next variable in this head is consumers liquid asset. Liquid asset means cash, near cash items, bank balance, or marketable securities available with the consumer. So such type of liquid assets they definitely affect the behavior of the consumer, because if they are readily available with the consumer, he'll be able to meet any kind of contingency that may arise in future. So higher the availability of liquid assets with the consumer, higher will be his current spendings and vice versa. So availability of liquid asset will definitely affect the behavior of the consumer, and accordingly the study of this variable will help marketer in devising his marketing strategies and programs. Next variable in this category is consumer credit, another important determinant which will affect the buying behavior of the consumer, that is availability of goods on credit basis, maybe in the form of hire purchase or installment system or any other deferred payment system, because these systems will aid the consumer to purchase those products which otherwise if he would have postponed to some future time. So, consumer credit results in increasing the spending on the product, that is, luxury items, which will raise his standard of living, such as bikes, LCDs, refrigerations, or costlier items such as jewelry or air conditions or expensive clothing, etc. etc. So many of the marketers selling luxury items, they mainly depend on this technique to sell their products to the consumers. Next variable in this category is standard of living. Consumer behavior has an impact on the established standard of living of the consumer. Consumer spends in the marketplace or behaves in the marketplace as per standard of living to which he is accustomed to. So if the income of the consumer goes down due to any reason, it becomes very difficult for the consumer to come down or to curtail his spendings from his established standard of living. On the other hand, if there is tendency of rise in his income, definitely he will elevate his standard of living. So this factor also greatly influence the behavior of the consumer at the marketplace. Next variable in this category is government policy. The policy of the government also impacts consumer behavior. If the government imposes more of taxes on the consumer or cess on the consumer, he will left with very less income to spend at the marketplace, and definitely it will affect his behavior. Next variable in this category is economic conditions. The general economic conditions prevalent in the country, they also govern consumer behavior. If the economic conditions in the country are favorable, that means there are boom conditions in the country, then definitely consumer will be having more of income and he will spend more on luxury items. On the other hand, if there are inflationary tendencies prevailing in the country, then all the items or goods or services, they'll become costlier, and definitely this will impel the consumer to cut down his consumption expenditure. So these were the economic determinants which affect the consumer behavior. Now, next category which we shall study today is sociological determinants or sociological variables that affects the consumer behavior. Friends, we know consumer is a social human being, and many social factors definitely will affect his behavior in the marketplace. The study of sociological factor definitely provides certain clues to the marketer regarding the behavior of the consumer, that and what circumstances and how he will behave in the marketplace and how he will affect his purchase decisions. Sociologists explain the behavior of a group of persons and the way in which it reflects while purchasing the product. Generally, uh, there are variables which we study in this group are family, reference group, opinion leader, social class, and culture of the society. And marketer, in order to succeed in the marketplace, must devise his strategies and policies which are relevant for him in this regard. So, first determinant in this category is family. Friends, family is the prime group of any society, and this is the primary group of every person which influences his behavior. So, most of the decisions made by the consumers, they are taken within the purview of family or environment of family. And these decisions are affected by desires, attitudes, values of the family members. Family traditions and family cultures, they also build the taste, personality, ambitions, attitudes, and lifestyle of the consumers. And it decides the pattern of consumption of family members. Family actually influences the decision making process. So marketer need to study the pattern or roles of different family members which will affect his purchase decisions. So different roles which are played by the family members in process of making decision regarding purchasing of goods or services are: the first one is initiator. This family member or is the person in the family is one who first of all feels the need for a particular product or service. Then the next family member is influencer. This is a person whose views affect that what product will be purchased. The next family member is decider. This is a person who finally takes the decision as to whatever will be purchased and when it will be purchased, from where and how it will be purchased. Then the next one is buyer. This family member is the person who actually purchases a product. And the final one is user. This is a person who ultimately uses the product. So marketer is definitely interested in knowing the family members, that what family member will play which role. Another important thing which Another important thing which marketer must understand regarding the study of family is family life cycle. That the stage of family life cycle through which the family is passing to. So, whether this is the initial stage of the family life cycle, or this is the second phase, or mid phase, or the last phase. So, the phase of family life cycle describes whether what is the age of the family members, what is the phase, whether it is the birth of the child, or marriage of the child, or this is the dispersion phase of the family. And according to the phase of the family, the spendings on food, clothing, childcare products, or uh, durable items, they are purchased, or decision regarding the purchase of these items is undertaken. So marketer must also study the life cycle of the family in order to initiate his marketing programs so that they may be successful programs. Then the next uh, variable or determinant in this category is consumer behavior. Reference groups. Reference groups are the groups to which the family members are affiliated to outside the family. So every person of the society also attached to certain reference groups outside his family. These groups, they greatly influence his purchase decisions. These reference groups may be social groups, maybe economic groups, maybe professional groups to with the consumer is attached to. And these reference groups also directly or indirectly affect the purchase decisions in manner of guidance or advice they provide regarding the evaluation of the products. Reference groups generally provide useful information to the consumers regarding the brand, regarding the performance of the product, regarding their taste, or such type of feedbacks. So marketer must study the reference groups before devising marketing policies. Friends, as we know, being the marketer, we must know that a satisfied consumer is the best advertiser. So, consumers, whenever they are affiliated or associated to certain groups, they definitely will listen to their words and their advices while purchasing products, and more specifically when this purchase is regarding the durable items. Then the next variable in this category is opinion leader. So next variable in this category is opinion leader. Opinion leader is the influential person in the reference groups who plays a lead role, and actually this person innovates or sets the trend by consuming new products or availing new ideas, and then he informs other persons in the society about his experiences and about the products. So, such opinion leaders or such persons may be actors, actors or actresses, the players of national level, they may be politicians or religious personalities or social workers. So, beliefs and preferences and attitudes of opinion leaders will definitely set a trend in the marketplace for the other consumers to follow his patterns in the given situations. So, generally, marketer, while framing or while making their advertisements, they also incorporate opinion leaders in their advertisements to influence the behavior of the consumer. Because whenever, for example, in an advertisement of toothpaste, when the dentist is commenting that this toothpaste is best for your teeth or your oral health or for your gums, then definitely consumers, they will be influenced by such opinion of the doctor being presented in the advertisement. So marketer must take the opinion leaders in their marketing programs. They must understand and they must set aside opinion leaders so that they may influence the behavior of other consumers largely prevailing in the marketplace. The next variable in this category is social class. Purchase decision of individuals is also greatly influenced by the social class or caste to which they are belonging. Social class or caste is actually a permanent and homogeneous division of society into which individuals or families, they are sharing certain similar values, lifestyles, the interest and behaviors, etc. So this is actually the social class which is determined by the income of the class, their authority, their power, their ownership, the lifestyles, the educational levels, the consumption patterns, occupations they're following, and the place where they are residing. So, social class can be divided mainly in three basic categories: rich class, middle class, or poor class. So, the behavior of the persons will largely depend on the basis on the class to which he is belonging to. So, marketer, while deciding his marketing policies, must understand that to which social class consumer is belonging to, because the lifestyle, the attitudes, the values of the consumers will largely depend upon these factors. The next variable in this category is culture. Another important factor which adds dimension to the study of consumer behavior, that is culture. Culture actually represents an overall social heritage or environment of the whole society. It includes the beliefs of the societies, their traditional values, their morals, their customs, their habits, and all these things. They decide the behavior of the members of the society. Culture deeply affects the attitudes, the motives, the intentions, brand choices in the purchase of goods and services in the marketplace. So, while understanding the culture, the marketer must understand certain dimensions of the society, that is, race, to which race the people of that society they are belonging to, whether it's black, there he's going to deal with black people, white people, Asian people, European people, etc. Then he must understand that to what type of people they are belonging to, which religion he is going to deal with, that is whether the consumers they are belonging to Hinduism, Islamism, Christianity, Sikhism, etc., because their spending habits will also be affected by the choice of religion or the religion in which he is pertaining to. Then another thing which adds to the culture is nationality, because people living in different nations they have definitely different beliefs, different languages, and different choices. So obviously, more specifically, when the marketer is dealing with international boundaries, he must understand the national attributes of the residents of that country. Then uh, these things, these cultural and subcultural groups, they have their unique consumption patterns, and these patterns they give a very useful insight to the uh, consumer behavior and their purchase patterns. So marketer, while deciding his marketing policies regarding segmentation of market, or maybe regarding the product development, what kind of product variations, colors he is going to produce, the advertisement appeal he is going to frame, what brand name he will keep for his products, and the type of packaging he will offer to the marketer. So a wise marketer will not contradict to the cultural values while framing his marketing mix. So, friends, these were the sociological dominants which we have studied and which will affect consumer behavior. In the next lecture, we shall study the remaining determinants of consumer behavior. That's all for today. Thank you.